Well, hello. I hope that I'm back. I've just been on with our supplier of how we stream our programs, and they have temporarily given us our um, uh, what should we say um, stream back while they sort out the technical problem. But it's very distressing because we wasted half a day, and we shouldn't have to do that. We shouldn't have to do that at all. So let's see if we can get through to Melissa at the last minute. I wouldn't blame her if she'd gone away. Still, I wouldn't blame you if you'd gone away either. But it is. Yes, I mean it is working again. That's for sure, and hopefully we can just finish off a bit of the bit of Friday that we haven't got. Very disappointing to have our day interrupted like that. As I went on this morning and nothing was as it should be, dear. Not at all good. Not at all good. Anyway, we didn't get a chance to discuss the headlines this morning, so I will do that now while we are waiting to see whether we can get hold of Melissa. We did bring the two bees to you. At 9 o'clock. So we got that part right. We managed to pull up the papers, so I can talk to you about it, and we'll see whether we've actually got ourselves back on track or not. Hody doody doody, hoody doody doody. There we go. Okay. Here's what the newspapers are saying. The NHS waiting lists are set to grow as the Prime Minister blames doctors for missing pledges. Oh, that's going to go down like a ton of bricks. The Eye reports that NHS waiting lists in England could continue to worsen until the next general election, after figures released on Thursday showed they'd hit a record high. The paper quotes Prime Minister Rishi Sunak as blaming striking doctors and consultants for derailing his plan to cut waiting lists, which hit a record 7.68 million people. All right. The Times is got the same story as a headline. A&E delays put patients in danger, says a doctor. In its lead, the Times reports that according to the president of the Royal College of Emergency Medicine, hospitals are making people sicker. Adrian Boyle accused health leaders of taking their eyes off the ball. In an interview with the paper, he says patients are becoming delirious on A&E trolleys, with those aged over 80 spending an average of 15 hours waiting for a bed. The Daily Telegraph: pupils to isolate for 21 days as measles cases rise. The Telegraph reports that children who have not had the MMR, that's the measles, mumps, and rubella jabs, may be forced to self-isolate for 21 days due to a rapid rise in measles. The paper reports that modeling data suggests up to 160,000 measles infections could occur in London alone. It also pictures Sienna Miller, at the Vogue World event as a 41-year-old actress confirmed her pregnancy in an outfit revealing her bump. Ooh. And Paul Dano as The Guardian. Starmer criticised by the left and right over plan to end small boats crisis. I'm not quite sure what that was all about. Let's make sure. No, we haven't got. We haven't got Melissa there. So we'll carry on with the papers. The Daily Express: thousands join the fight to protect triple lock. A dirty deal. Suella slams Labour's EU migrant plan. The Daily Express leads on Ms. Braverman's criticism of Labour's proposed policy. She is quoted in the paper as describing Labour's plan as a dirty deal that would hand Brussels the keys to our immigration system. The Financial Times: ARM shares leap 20% in biggest US IPO for 2 years. IPO, for the uninitiated, is initial public offering. In other words, it's taken to public market. The Financial Times reports that Housing Secretary Michael Gove's plans to end no-fault evictions in England have been put back due to infighting in the Conservative Party. A Whitehall official quoted in the paper says there are a number of landlords in the Whip's office who are amplifying the level of concern among Tory MPs and holding things up. The Whips, who advise ministers on how Tory MPs will react to new legislation, strongly denied that they were letting their personal financial interests affect their judgment. And the Daily Mail: even in grief, we are banned from saying her name. The Daily Mail pictures Anna Wintour and Sienna Mills at the Vogue World event last night, London's first attempt at emulating New York's world-famous Met Gala fashion event. In its lead, the paper reports on the plight of the grieving parents of a teenager who fought doctors who wanted to withdraw her life-extending treatment. The parents voice their frustration in the paper as a court order prevents her name from being published. Right, okay. I think I heard Melissa. I did. Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning, Keith. How are you?
Oh, frustrated beyond compare this morning.
What's happening?
Well, I woke at my usual time of 4:30 and put on my aftershave just in case you were coming to see me, and I got into the studio in good time. I had a nice cup of coffee. I went through the papers. I prepared myself. Click, and suddenly our mainstream StreamYard was giving a very, 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 very limited service. In fact, none at all. So I started to fight with them and argue with them, and of course, that takes time. We still haven't resolved it, except that they grumpily agreed that they would put us back on air for 3 days while they sorted things out. And the only thing I can see is that they've got the wrong email address for us. And how that happened, heaven only knows. But I managed to get the two barristers on for their program today. And after that, nothing until you. And thank God you've come along.
Well, yeah, it's been a good morning so far. Then again, I just woke up, so and there's coffee in my hand. So what else could I possibly want?
Well, just talking to me, I suppose.
Oh yes, of course, Keith, of course. Although I got to say, my cat gave me a very hard time this morning.
Oh,
he just wouldn't stop.
Something in the wind.
He wouldn't stop yelling at me all morning.
Wow.
Yeah, he's not in a good mood today.
It seems to be all around. Tell me, you're looking gorgeous as usual. I mean, have you got any beauty tips for our viewers on how to look good? What time is it in the morning with you? 5 o'clock?
Almost 6.
Almost 6. Yeah.
Beauty tips? Really? You want beauty tips from me?
Well, I have to say, you always look gorgeous. But to look gorgeous at this time, that takes real trick and a real ability.
Well, you know what I would say? I'm 60 years old. So what I would tell...
you're not.
What I would tell the ladies out there, maybe around my age, or certainly heading toward my age, is not to wear so much makeup. It just looks dirty. It looks nasty. It gets into your wrinkles, and it accentuates them. And it just looks like you're trying to be 20. And it's silly. It's just silly. And then the 20-year-old's trying to look like they're 30, and then the 16-year-old's trying to look like they're 20. It's like, just look like yourself. Just be yourself. I mean, come on, guys.
Yes.
Well, women spend hours doing their hair and their makeup. Why? Why are you doing that? You're pretty the way you are. Anyway.
Well, do you know something? I gave up makeup after we finished Morning Business Report.
I did too. Yeah, that's right. And that's right.
Such fresh, natural skin.
Yeah, you used to wear makeup. That's right. You have to wear. Right. Men wear makeup on television, and isn't it just the worst? It's this awful paste on your face. It's like,
yes, that's right.
Awful.
I used to say that I was very fortunate in as much as I could go home to Valerie, my wife, with makeup on my collar and have a bloody good excuse for it.
It's me, honey. It's me.
Yeah.
But it's funny because men don't really realize what women go through unless, of course, you've been on television and they put all that stuff on your face, and then you have to take it off every morning and then put it back on. It was terrible. I hated it. I don't even wear foundation. I refuse.
Well, of course, the thing is that television cameras have improved so remarkably over the intervening years since 1990.
Yes.
Was it 1990? No, 2000, wasn't it?
That's right.
Yes. It is that, of course, you don't need it anymore.
Oh, yeah. They just fill in all the gaps.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because we as humans have developed this standard of beauty over the years, that you must have your eyeliner like this and your eyebrows perfectly like this and your lips perfectly like this and your skin flawless. Why did we come up with that standard?
Heaven only knows. No.
It's ridiculous.
Well, actually, there was no reason, because I mean, you look as gorgeous now as you did then, and so no makeup is, I mean, fantastic.
There you go. You
Uh,
could.
Actually, Melissa, just talking about technology, um, you know, I mean, Mirador is now beginning to surge ahead. We're really beginning to get a bit more substance. We're getting more viewers. We're expanding, and so people are. There's more interest in how we started, and I was recounting to somebody that really is because of lockdown and various other things. Is we really restarted Mirador with me on the phone, sitting outside Cafe Nero, broadcasting, and I was recounting that it was you that actually said to me, you know, Facebook have got this new system which is only to be used by Hollywood stars at the moment, but it will become general. And that's really the system that we use today, or at least the start of it. So that you know, we can broadcast from phones, we can broadcast from iPads, and so on. And it was you that actually kept an eye on that and steered us towards it. So you've been in my news talk quite a lot this week.
Wow. So I've been making news this week and didn't even know it.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, you kind of don't. It's these days anyway. You don't want to make the news. It's never good.
Well, isn't it funny? A lot of people have said that, and I said, but you know, the fact of the matter is that if you're going to be in television the way that we are, even if it's only once or twice a week, is you have to realize you put your head above the parapet nowadays, and you have to take the flak, unless you want to sort of not say anything that's going to offend anybody. It is quite a remarkable change in attitudes towards news on television and what you can say and what you can't say.
Yeah, just even from the broadcaster's perspective and from the viewers, because now they can comment. And then
That's right.
you've got Twitter, you've got all of these different platforms where everybody can say anything they want. And so
That's right. Actually, yesterday, Liza Page was on, and of course, she is very outspoken and forthright. And halfway through the broadcast, on the little box where you could get viewer comment, was, "Hey, I love you guys. Keep it up." And it was somebody from Ghana.
it's great. It's great.
So you can never tell where we're being watched.
That's true. All over the world. It's really remarkable when you think about it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Speaking of which, Connor, your son, works for NHK, the equivalent of BBC in Japan, and is always doing something interesting. What's he been up to this week?
Well, it's interesting. On 9/11 this week, the anniversary of the towers being destroyed, they have created a new performing arts theater down in that area. It's a really remarkable area now. The memorial is just something to behold. You can't even really explain it in words. You have to be there. You can't even explain it in pictures, honestly. I when people would say that, I'd be like, yeah, sure, but it's true. I went down there and I was just taken aback. And they've created a new theater, performing arts theater, the Perlman Theater, and it's astonishing. The architecture is astonishing. And so Connor covered the opening of that with the governor and the mayor and the former mayor of the city. And so, yeah, he'll be interviewing the architect, I think probably next week. He also covered, there was an event at the USS Intrepid, which is a World War II carrier that's just parked right outside the city. And I think there was an event regarding Japan and an F-4 that was shot down at the end of World War II, and how I think they might have saved the pilot or something along those lines. And so there was some kind of a interview that Connor had done regarding that. I'm sure he could tell you all about it. But so he's doing some very, very interesting stories. And then I of course, the big news. I think did I tell you he got into the Oratorio Society of New York, and they're preparing
Yes.
for a concert in November. They're going to be doing Handel's Messiah at Carnegie Hall, and then in December they'll be doing Mozart's Requiem and Bach's Magnificat in Carnegie Hall as well. So he's really enjoying being part of a very professional group of singers.
Yes.
So a very huge choir. So
and
it's
some
amazing.
pretty powerful music he's doing too.
Very, very powerful. It's honestly 3 of my favorites. So I'm so excited.
Yes.
You know,
I mean, the Messiah particularly is, it's a huge undertaking.
It is. I mean, I had thought about auditioning and getting in, but I really wanted this to be Connor's day to shine. You know, because he's going into the military in January. This is his opportunity to really shine.
Well, mother can take over from son.
Exactly. They, once he's
keep the family tradition going.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. Well, I mean, what is pleasing me enormously. I mean, I have a vested interest in Connor's development because I started off with him almost 20 years ago, didn't I? One way or another, and he's become multi-talented. He's like his mother. He's multi-talented. I mean, he's a successful reporter. He's now going to be a successful pilot of faster than sound aircraft. He's a chef.
He's
a lot of things.
I always told him he could be what he wants to be. And I've always believed in, and not always adhering to this, but never bar yourself from what you want. A lot of the reasons why we don't achieve what we want to achieve is that we bar ourselves inside. We tell ourselves we can't do it, or we allow people outside of us to tell us we can't do it, therefore doing it inside ourselves. It's not someone else's fault. It's inside ourselves. And when you realize that, and that you also have the power to do it, whatever you want. If you know that, it's not going to be a problem for you. There may be challenges along the way, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the challenges are, because you're going to get there.
Yes, absolutely. We shall overcome. It's very appropriate. Very appropriate.
Yeah, and never give up. Isn't that our theme? Never give up.
Right? Absolute. Never give up. Never surrender.
Right. Exactly.
Although, excuse me, that was born of one of my favorite movies, which is a silly nonsense movie, Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
You know the movie?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, the theme of it is very clever to begin with, but the very deadpan aliens who never give up, never surrender. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
Right now, I also thought of you, and in fact, I did give a little mention because I was getting stuff out of the archive, and I got a half-hour documentary which some students did for us 2 or 3 years ago on autism, and they were quite clever about it, really, because first of all, the students that actually produced the program were autistic, but also they had parents who were autistic, and they used everybody in this documentary, and it really is seeing it from the side of those affected by autism is fascinating, as opposed to people like us on the outside looking in. But I know that you're an outsider looking in, because this is something that autism is only one small part of it, but it's people who are, shall we put it this way, disadvantaged in that sense, that you are worried about and concerned about, and are in fact taking an advanced degree to make sure that you can not only help them, but also make informed comment. And it's informed comment that you make on this program. So here you go.
Yeah, I was just reading a couple of days ago. Joe Biden has lots of faults, but he did sign a bill, or as part of a Rehabilitation Act of 1973, that a lot of times they'll enact these bills, and then over time they'll strengthen them or weaken them, depending on the president. And so he signed something this week that prohibits discrimination in healthcare access. A lot of times with people with disabilities, whether they're in a wheelchair or maybe they can't walk properly, they oftentimes in a doctor's office don't have real access to healthcare because the doctor's offices aren't set up properly. Well, this act, it forces these medical care facilities to accommodate everybody, everyone who needs medical care. People who have disabilities, they need help. So it's an added burden. So I need more help than your average person, and then I can't access that more help. So this bill, it gives more legal remedies if something like that were to happen. So I thought that was a good development this week to put people on notice. If you're a doctor, you have to have access to people who cannot walk in properly, or maybe they have various problems. You're supposed to be there to help them, not to be able to just help a normal, healthy person. Like, what's the matter with it? That's easy. I can help a happy, normal, healthy person. Oh, you look good. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
So I've never understood that concept of, well, I don't have proper access for somebody with a disability. That doesn't make sense. So anyway. So that was one of the developments I was reading about this week. But it's interesting about autism. I love how labels are developed over time. How people are developed. People who are different get slapped with a label because some genius psychologist thought, oh, let's call it autism. Really, it's just a different wiring. It's just different. So somebody either with high functioning autism or somebody with Asperger's syndrome, they just have different sensory organs that are much more attuned, or maybe they don't have mental capacity that maybe your average person does. So what? So you work with whatever they are and you make them the best they can be.
Yes.
I hate the labels, because when you hear autism, you hear less in someone's mind. Oh, less. Oh, that person's less. That person could be smarter than you are.
No, absolutely.
We don't think about that. And a lot of times they are. They're a lot sharper and smarter than we are. They have better memories than we do. They actually have better senses than we do. So we have to, sometimes the labels are just,
yes.
they're a detriment to potential. They truly are. So.
Well, those labels also come with a certain amount of, not sure what the word is, but people look at you with pity.
Yes.
Because, of course, you remember me as a bouncing, healthy young man, and now I can't walk. But the two barristers this morning were having great fun because they keep on discussing who is going to defend me from me beating up the town in my new little scooter as I tear around. But the interesting thing is, on a week ago, last Saturday, there was a bit of a foul up, and my colleagues didn't turn up for us to go over and shoot inside the Crown Court, which is right opposite to us. And it's the only day of the year that you can go in and actually take video. And I hadn't been in there for a long time, and I'd forgotten how many stairs there were. So I struggled over, and then really struggled getting around it. And sure enough, it had to happen. I caught my heel on a step, and over I went. Boom, 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 boom. Now, I've learned to fall, so I didn't hurt myself. But as I lay there like a little puppy, you could see the look on people's faces. Oh, the poor old man. You know? Well, I mean, I'm lots of things, but I'm not a poor old man. and for this patronizing, that's the word I was looking for, this patronizing look from all these people standing around, and I thought, I'll lie here for a while and I'll let them see what a poor old man looks like.
You know what's so funny is if they have the privilege to live long enough, they're going to be one of those poor old people.
Yes.
They don't seem to understand that. And you don't really get it until you've taken care of a parent who is like that. Then you're like, oh, wow, my parent used to be this, and now they're this, but they're still my parent. And sometimes you have even more fun with them. You do. If you have a good attitude, like I had so much more fun with my father when he was old. Seriously. The things that came out of his mouth were just hilarious. I loved it. I loved it. I did.
I can well believe that, because actually, I mean, you do tend to talk to people in your own age range, and Mirador is actually we're coming in the to the 21st century, because we're starting to get one or two younger people now. But generally speaking, it is a television station that's populated by older people, and we chat, and we don't feel old. We don't think of ourselves as old, and our ideas may not be that modern, but we are able to discuss them. So, being looked at as if you're a bit of a monument is. I mean, I think that's probably why we go out of our way to make sure that we behave outrageously.
You know what's funny? I had a discussion with a colleague yesterday who's 62, and we were talking about how, because we want to retire and go do what we want to do, like naughty children, we can't wait to get to that point where we're old enough to retire. Like, we're so excited. Like, I can't wait till I'm 67. Yay! I can't wait till I'm 70. Yay!
Well, actually, I don't know what that feels like, because I refuse to retire.
Yeah.
The word does not appear in any document in my home.
Yeah, it's about getting our pensions. There's a certain age, and our age is 67, but if you wait till you're 70, from 67 to 70, it increases 8% each year. So we're like, we'll take it at 70, and we can't wait. We're so excited to just go out in the world,
Yeah.
So.
Well, actually, there is some concern by my medical people that they don't want me to fall over and sort of lie somewhere for 3 or 4 days. So I am in what is known as broadly sheltered accommodation. It's actually a very nice apartment block, and you couldn't tell any different from anything else, except it's got a little red tag hanging from the ceiling. So if I do fall over, I can pull it and
just pull it down.
That's
good.
Yeah, but what it does mean is I'm talking to people who are likewise, and you can have more fun talking to older people than you can shake a stick at. Now, I know I'm a bit of a curmudgeon, and certainly I'm a Luddite. But on Wednesday, we are going to do the program from this place where I live. So that, I mean, not that we're anything terribly special, but I thought, first of all, we don't do anything involving older people, except for those people who work here. And also, this place doesn't have, nobody singles it out to go in and do things there. So it serves two purposes. So there's an air of excitement around my home that we're actually going to do our program, modest though it is, from where I live. So it'd be great fun.
Good, very good. I look forward to seeing it.
Well, we might actually. You might get a call in the middle of the night saying, "Melissa, come on, come and talk to the older folk."
I'll join you. No problem.
Yes, I would love that actually, because in some ways it would provide more excitement for them. I mean, one of the things that we do, I mean, I describe this as a hybrid thing, but we do as much internationally as we do locally, and that adds an air of excitement. I'm not sure whether you did you meet Harry Atherton last week. Harry is I knew in Vancouver in 1970, and we started a rugby club together. And then he went off, and I went off, and he's led a fascinating life because he ended up in France and renovating old castles. And one he actually turned into a hotel, and Michael Jackson put a bid in it. So it was that good. So Harry has joined our team. And even though he's as old as I am, he's been to so many different places. It's fascinating to hear his experiences. So we are able to say that we're hybrid. We're not just talking about did you lose your bunny rabbit down the road. We do things that are worthwhile, and there's a lot of older people, particularly, appreciate because they haven't lost their marbles. They are still interested in what's going on in the world. A lot of people, a lot of broadcasters are so busy focusing on focus groups that they don't actually bring the sort of thing that we bring. I like to make sure that you and Suzanne and Harry and one or two more realize the importance of you appearing and just simply talking to us the way you do about your life, about New York, about things in the States and so on, because it brings a new perspective to people who appreciate getting that sort of information. They don't want reality shows. They don't want, did I meet my wife on TV?
Well, no, I won't go there. Anyway, let's not go there, Keith.
Well, but you didn't meet him on sort of going into a room where somebody said, "Take a look at these people." You actually met him in a professional capacity. That's different, isn't it?
Well, sort of.
Well, romance.
It was, I kind of didn't realize it, but it was almost like I see, I like, I get. That's the way it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, remember that. I mean, I'm not going to give any details to anybody, but I lived through most of it with you.
But I gotta tell you, it's wonderful, and it was honestly, I just wish that I could stress it to people that that it's a lot of it's in your head. It's how you look at it. It's how good or bad. It's really how you frame it in your mind and how you perceive it and how you perceive yourself.
Yes,
absolutely. And it's just, I'm just, we don't realize that all day we think of things that sabotage us. All day long, if we were to write down like what do they say, 70,000 thoughts a day, if we were to write all those thoughts down on a piece of paper and then read it back at the end of the day, what would we say? We'd probably be shocked, right? Yes. And we'd be like, I was thinking all of that? Well, that is my life, good and bad.
Yes, that's right.
Wow. It's amazing, though, if you think about it.
And actually, what I find is that I come in here, and the girls who have to get up at the same time as me, I call them our backup staff because they really look after us very, very well. But Jane, for instance, is I am very fond of her, and I don't go around saying, "Oh, I'm very fond of Jane." I think she's a very nice lady, and I mean, believe me, it's only that I'm fond of her. There's nothing more. But these things go through my mind, and they colour what I do in a day and make it much more exciting.
Yes.
And there is a lovely lady who is a student bartender at the pub that I go to on the way home, and she's a songwriter. So
Wow.
you know, you meet all sorts of people that you don't necessarily talk about. Is they just become part of your life,
Right.
and it's nice and exciting and interesting.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. It's more about what we think, not what we say. Although what
Yeah.
we say is important too,
Yes.
because it does. It's not always honest about what we really think. So yeah, it's amazing though. If we could if we can change the script into something more favorable, we'd get a more favorable result.
Absolutely. Well, I mean,
So
I think in some ways, you are personification for that, because not only, as you say, you were persistent in your personal life, but we really, Mirador came out of us working together and
yeah.
staying together and having disasters and triumphs and all sorts of things. And look where we are. And
Yeah, and I got to be honest, and I think a lot of it is in my mind. It in my mind. It is and will be a never-ending friendship. It doesn't matter what, and that it is always in my mind. It is always a good a good interaction with you.
yes,
I'm not thinking, oh crap, I gotta talk to Keith. Hey, he's awful. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because if I think that way, the interaction will in fact be awful.
that would be right. Yeah.
Right. But if I'm thinking, well, as we talk to Keith, it's always fun to talk to Keith. Keith's awesome. That's what I'm going to experience.
Yeah. Well, I have to say I'm the same. It's Friday. It's Melissa.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Fridays. I love Fridays. It's just a day. But in my mind, it's so special.
Yes, absolutely.
like I would, nobody likes to go into the city on a Friday because, you know, people here work 3 days a week and they stay home 2 days a week. I have to go to the city Friday because to me, Fridays are fun days in the city. But to other people, they're like, I don't want to go to the city on Friday. It's awful. Oh no, it's awesome. And I always have a great time on Friday. I could be by myself and have a great time on Friday.
Yes, yes. I have to say that the club which you like in London, it was Friday was always my favourite day there. It was almost like a club within a club.
The club is very sweet. People there are very sweet. Now I could go in there with one of those attitudes like, oh, it's all men, how horrible, right? Right? There are people who think that.
Yeah.
And so they have a bad experience with it. But in my view, it's a kind of a club where men can just go and just talk, and there's no women there to distract them, which is great if you have a husband there. You know, you don't want him distracted by other women, right?
No, right.
So it's perfect, right?
Yes.
It's perfect. Go, because the women who are there, they're either part of the staff and they do not do anything like that, or they're with another gentleman, right? So it's perfect. Send your husbands out there. Yes, ladies, go, please. I need some time to myself. Go have fun with the guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, of course, there are some people that also go on this elitism. But you know, the bar that you can't go into, known as Josie's bar. Josie was a delightful lady whom I knew very well. She's now retired, but I remember having a little conversation with her one day because I was in there early and there was just Josie and I. And she said, Mr. Hayes, she said, I leave Southend or wherever it was. She said, I get on a train, I look at graffiti, I hear people using swear words and using foul-mouthed language. She said, and I get to the doors of this club, and I come in through the door, and for 8 hours, I'm in a world of civility, courtesy, consideration. And you know, that is what it is. And if that's elitism, my God, I want it.
I wouldn't call everyone there elite. Not everyone there is uber wealthy.
No,
they're not. They're just normal. They're just men.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. I don't know. I didn't get any air of superior. I didn't get any of that. Even when Princess Alexandra was there, I didn't even feel that from her. Yeah, she was so sweet and gracious and beautiful and just, I loved her. She was great. I love that. I always feel comfortable there.
Yes, and so do I. I mean, I was a member for since 1997, which is quite some time, and I've never regretted a day. It's always been magnificent, and I felt a bit like Josie. You dive in through that door, and you enter a different world.
Yeah,
and it is nice. not an elite world. It's a world, as she said, of consideration, courtesy. And just takes you away from the dismal aspects of some of the worlds outside.
It just keeps beautiful traditions alive, and I just love that. I really do.
Absolutely. Darling, we'll get hold of you on Wednesday if we may, because I think some of the older people would love to chat to you and to see you and to hear what you have to say. As usual, you've made my Friday, and I'm now going to walk into the other bar where Tom Paine wrote The Rights of Man, and wallow in the fact that your country started its life right here in this hotel. Talk to you later.
Bye, Keith. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you later.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, there we are. Melissa Conti, a lovely, lovely lady. And in this little chat, which we have each Friday, we like to trot through a number of things to give you some idea of how, if I can put it this way, our American cousins are thinking. Because Churchill it was who said, 2 great nations divided by a common language. And it's not just the fact that a cookie is a biscuit or a chip is a French fry. It's that we do have different and separate lives, even though we apply the same words to it. And to understand how people think and play and work in the United States, to me, is very helpful. And I hope that it's helpful to you in understanding why we are such great allies. Right now, hopefully, I hope we're not going to have the awful situation that we had this morning again. But therefore, with a brave face, I shall look forward to Monday morning, and I shall look forward to being with you. Don't forget that we are going to broadcast from sheltered housing and next Wednesday. Do try to join in and see what it's like in there. To see the sort of people that are living there. Or not. If they're not a bit interested in us, it doesn't matter. We are broadcasting anyway, as we always do, each day. And to broadcast from there is as much fun as it is to broadcast from here. See you on Monday. Toodle pip. Right. Now, it's so discombobbled all day today. So It's a toodle pippus out. I need to. Let's see. Yes. Here we go. Toodle, 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 pip. Oh, it's not going to work.